for a while. So like, it's okay to take a break and go back, you know? I think everyone has to be a little more compassionate. I wanted to say today, you know, after you watch the latest video of these housewives of Potomac and you see all the fighting and you see what happened with the Vanderpump Rules and you see what goes on with the Kim and Croy situation, people in reality TV need to just take a break for 1 second. They need to take a breath. But I'm really concerned about the atmosphere that Bravo is kind of creating, because there is such a level of bullying and finding a villain and finding a victim and having everybody feed on that. And, you know, I had Vanessa Reiser on my show, who's the ex-fiance of Louis Rulis, whatever his name is. And sorry, yeah. And
I'm not sure that's how you say it. Go on.
And the people that came out of the woodwork to call me names because they said I gave a stalker a platform and how could I, and they wanted me canceled just because I interviewed her on my show. Well, my interviews are not about reality TV. They're about understanding the person. She's a therapist that now specializes in narcissistic abuse. I wanted to hear her story. So I'm not going to shame her because she had a past with Louis, and I don't know anything that's happened between them. I know she's a restraining order now, but I know a lot of stuff was blown up. But, you know, that's not what I wanted to know. I wanted to know who she was, and I gave her a chance to speak. And the level of anger that people, even people I know, people I'm close with, I got messages from them being like, are you crazy? Why would you have her on your show? And I thought that was really scary, that people are so invested in Bravo shows that they come out of the woodwork to really bully other people or make such a statement. Let me remind you people, you don't know these people. You don't know what really makes them tick. They're on television. They glorify things for a certain reason, but bullying is not okay. It's dangerous. And if Raquel ended up at the Meadows because of what she had done, but more so because of how she had been treated and the response, that's when she hit rock bottom and she needed help. She couldn't get through life on her own. She needed someone to sit her down and be like, let me find a path for you. So I think that's really serious. And I think Bravo could kind of be ashamed of themselves for how this is all turning out.
Everything you just said, I say all the time. I don't disagree with you. Now, I told you a few things. A, don't you go back down, girl, because when you're over 1,000 shows like I am, like people say, how could you have Joe Giudice on your show? He's an ex-con. And I say, let me make it very clear. All ex-cons are welcome on my show.
He did his time. He deserves a second chance. Right. He deserves a chance to tell his story. That's a crazy, ignorant thing to say, that people don't deserve a chance. That's awful.
I'm calling all ex-cons. I want them on my show. All sex workers. I want them all, whatever it is that everyone's going to be woke as a joke about, I want them on my show. So you're going to learn. I mean, I think you were way too nice to people in that situation. I would have told them to go fuck themselves. Someone even slipped into my DMs to say, this is the most insane thing, that I was on your show as a guest, which everyone should go and listen to. And my episode talking to you came out the day before Vanessa's or a week before. And how could I be at a show where I'm released like a week before? I'm like, are you fucking crazy? And I agree with you. We have a real problem. I think the culture has gotten too toxic, where it's like, if Kyle Richards would not break a nail to reach out if a bus was going to run you over, Teresa would not throw you a life jacket. You don't know these people. Trust me, I know a lot of them, and I would rather not, to be very honest with you. So I think it's very strange that it's gotten to this point, but I saw those comments and I don't understand it at all. Like how people are that. I mean, Vanessa could come on this show, like Louis can come on this. This is what you're doing your job.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. And before you guys end this episode and go and start making comments about how awful we are and blah, blah, blah.
People say that all the time about me.
Take a deep breath. Like, why are you sitting behind a computer and writing such nasty things to other people? If you don't like what you're listening to, don't listen. And if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. Aren't you classier than that? What if you're a school teacher and one of your students sees your comments? What if you're a girlfriend or a husband or wife or mother or father, and people that know you see the comments you make? It's really disgusting. So take a deep breath, and everyone should be a little more empathetic.
Don't let them bully you. And by the way, I mean, we do have another issue, which is not the same, but it's related, but it is like the Potomac when there is a smackdown, which we all witness. This is a smackdown. This is the second time this has happened on Potomac. I mean,
Champagne bottles being held in the air, wigs being like ripped off. It was so gross.
this is what because I can tell you, I don't think Bravo's happy with that footage.
It's not what reality TV is. I was on 2 reality shows, and that is not what you need to do to make news. It's not what you need to do to be seen, to stand out on your show. I really think that Bravo needs to take a second shot. And I hope they're doing a better job with the Housewives of New York. I hope it's not going to be about cat fights and nastiness, because that no one will watch that anymore. You want to see real people struggling that are on their come up in New York. That's what New York City is about. That's what I think the show should be. Yeah, women, girls, whoever, because they're doing it so young, but girls who have come to New York or they live in New York, they're New Yorkers that have been through a lot and are struggling, and like anyone else, because New York is a city of like, if you can't make it in New York, you can't make it anywhere. And it's so fucking hard. Sometimes you are at the low of the low and you live in a 5-floor walk up and it's a total nightmare, and you live in a studio and you have no air conditioning, and you have rats running through your apartment. That creates character. So I don't think you need to be a bazillionaire to be a woman on the Housewives of New York. New Yorkers are tough, man. Do you see that none of them are ever engaged or married? Because we survive on our own, us New Yorkers.
Listen, you and I are New York girls. Before we wrap up, I don't know where you're living with all these rats running around. I agree. I want the exact opposite. We can disagree, Rachel. We can still be friends.
I lived in really nice apartments in Manhattan too, but I'm just saying you don't always need to feature the upper echelon, because that's not.
But I want that. I want that. I want the charity. I want the woman that owns the charity, that she breaks all the rules and she's so rich that they're like, I want filthy, disgusting,
it's
rich.
Not relatable.
I know. I don't want relatable. I want to forget about kids and noise and the real world. And I just want to be like, look at all these fucking filthy rich people. We can disagree. That's what I want in my New York.
Know about those filthy rich people? They're addicted to Percocet and Xanax. Their husbands hate them and they're completely miserable. And that's what they're not showing. And that's why those shows are not like, they don't resonate with people, because they're fake. They're fake. And reality is the people that are in those positions are usually not happy.
True.
In my opinion.
True. Well, listen, now we have someone throwing up on the red carpet at the premiere. We'll talk about Giselle Tank next time. Rachel, it's been a pleasure. Where can we find you? We go fast, we go hard here. Are you getting the pace behind the velvet rope? Where can everyone find you to listen to your podcast?
Guys, I would really appreciate it. I know you're such big fans of David. If you're a fan of David's, I think you'll be a fan of mine too. Check out my podcast. It's on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. Misunderstood with Rachel Yucatel, MISS Understood. We have such great interviews with such interesting people that are on a mission to change their narrative because they feel they've been reduced to a single headline. And if it's not a specific guest that's talking about them, we talk about topics we think should be reconsidered. So I have, over 40 interviews of late, like super